What's going on, guys? My name is Forto54 and today I'm going to be playing some Fortnite Battle Royale on the new iPad Pro 2020. Right now I have it docked up to the Magic Keyboard that Apple came out with this year, which I really do like, and I'm also using the PS4 controller because the touchscreen is almost impossible to use. Okay, so now that we're loaded up into the game, I'm going to queue up some solos and we're going to really test how this game runs. The absolute first thing I notice is how fast this game loads. It's super impressive. It's way faster than the PS4. And another thing to mention is that it's 120 FPS, which is double what the PS4 or Xbox One can give you. The game looks great, it feels great, and is really surprising, especially since this is the mobile version of Fortnite, and it completely blows the PlayStation and Xbox out of the water. I should mention that I really haven't played this game since Season 6, other than a few test runs on the iPad when I first got it, but today I decided to land Misty Meadows. I really had no idea to where to land, as I hadn't really played this game since Tilted Towers was the thriving spot. I also want to mention that all of this was recorded on my iPad or my iPhone, as well as edited on there. At this point I saw just shy of 1 million other people landing here with me, and I was a little bit nervous, but I just decided to pick the biggest house I could find and land on the roof because I know that's where most of the chests spawn. Once I was in, the first chest I looted had a big pot and an AR. To my left was a shotgun, so I was pretty satisfied. I took my big pot and immediately heard people shooting around me, so I knew that I was going to have to react quick. I decided since I had some pretty decent weapons and 150 health, I should get a little bit of mats because I knew I was going to have to fight someone soon. Once I felt satisfied with the amount of mats I had, I decided it was time to try and fight someone. I saw some footsteps to my left, and once I broke this wall, I definitely started to hear someone shoot. He didn't even see me, so I was able to take him out super easy, but I knew that I needed a big pot, so I looked. I found nothing, but while looting one of my chests, I started to hear some people around me. I knew I had to act quick, but I literally started to panic. I hadn't played this game in really over a year, so I didn't know what to do. I'd never used proximity mines, but I assumed that they would help me out in a sticky situation, so I went ahead and threw a couple at the bottom of the door. At this point, I knew someone was there, and they either weren't good at the game or they didn't know that I was there because they still hadn't built up to me at this point. I heard their footsteps getting closer, and I also heard some random shots. I have honestly no idea what they were doing, but I was able to jump on them and absolutely whiff this shot, but pick them off with my SMG, so I felt pretty good. So after getting my second kill and playing this game for a couple minutes, I was really surprised at how good the game felt. But at this point, I started to see some footsteps pop up on the screen, so I knew I needed to get the high ground as well as a couple more mats. I didn't see their footsteps anymore, so I went ahead and jumped up on the roof. My goal was to stay out of their sight as well as still find the half pot because at this point I still only have 150 health. I cannot find one anywhere. Hoped I could find a half pot in this chest here, but all I got was an upgrade on my SMG, which wasn't a bad thing, but it wasn't what I was looking for. I thought I heard a chest this way, so I went ahead and looked. I broke into the ceiling, and right after that I decided to check the chest. And oh my gosh, I got a big pot. Look at it. It's so beautiful. I knew there was still someone outside, so I took some shelter and drank this like I just ran a marathon in the Sahara Desert. Now that happy hour was over, I decided to search for some ammo, get a little bit more mats, and pick up this med kit. I knew I needed high ground, and at this point I started hearing his footsteps again. He also started to build, so I knew he was probably a little bit better than the other person, until I heard this random shot, and I'm not sure what is going on with these lobbies. At this point also, I knew that my building was not very good, so I could not outbuild someone. I knew that my only chance to win this battle was to go ahead and keep high ground because at this point, I knew these people weren't good at building, I knew that they weren't great at the game, and he just decided to walk out right in front of me. He also had no shield, so this was a super easy kill. After killing him, I knew I had to rotate to zone, and I was feeling pretty sweaty, so I went ahead and took a dip in the lake. The game was feeling great, the graphics were looking awesome, and I had absolutely no complaints. I spent the next few minutes just looting and rotating to zone, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that out so you guys don't have to watch all that. We're getting down towards the last circle, and there's only 9 people left, 8 if you exclude me. I'm walking across the street, and I started to hear some people fighting to my right. I was getting towards the late game, so I knew that anyone I came across was either really good or they were camping the entire game and really didn't deserve to be here. I saw one of them die, so I really knew that I needed to take some sort of action and try and get a jump on these guys before they got me. I saw someone swimming in the river, so I decided to push him. As I made my way to the river, I spotted him running across. I went ahead and aimed in at him. I shot him, almost killed him because he had no shield, and at that point, I tried killing him, but I saw that there was someone building to my right, and I really didn't want to get pinched. I took some shots at this guy and I was able to hit him once for 32, but he had a sniper and I didn't, so I ran away. My goal now was to have them two fight each other, and hopefully I could get a grasp on the situation as well as build myself up and get some high ground. I was doing pretty well on mats, but I saw this big juicy tree and I honestly could not help myself. After that, I decided I was going to go ahead and build up on top of this roof, and then I was going to box myself in because that's really all I remember to do from back in the day. I looked across and saw him pushing me, so I decided to take some shots, and not a single one landed. He was for sure better than any other person I played in this game, and he was getting high ground on me, so I got a little bit nervous. He pulled out his lightsaber, so I needed to push him now or it was going to be too late. After completely missing a couple shots, I was able to land one for 80. I knew I had to end it quick because the other guy was coming and he was going to third party me. I was able to take him out finally with the SMG. As I turned to my left, I noticed that the other dude was there and he was also using a lightsaber. He seemed significantly better with it, so I panic built. I was able to get high ground on him, but again, my building is not that great because I have not played this game in a very long time, so it really didn't mean much to have high ground on a player that was much more skilled than me. I noticed he wasn't building up to me, so I took time to assess the situation. I knew I needed to reload my guns as well as take some shield because at some point I had taken at least 45 damage. I took one of my 2 half pots because I needed to get myself back up to 200 health. After finishing my half pot, I noticed that there was multiple footsteps around me, and so I really started to panic at this point. I had the high ground, and they were fighting each other, so I had the advantage. I just didn't know what to do. I destroyed this tree for a little bit more visibility, but honestly, I still freaked out. Instead of taking action, I decided to jump back up into my cozy cube. Once I was in my cube, I did end up noticing that someone was across the way shooting, so I decided to shoot back. I poked my head out and was able to hit him a couple times. However, someone third-partied and they decided that they were going to go ahead and kill him. I was mad, so I started to shoot this dude, and as soon as I started to hit him, I got sniped. At this point, I thought I got third-partied from below, so I decided to pop some minis because I had high ground. However, I didn't. Someone sniped me and I died. I wanted to spectate this guy because I just assumed that he was really, really good. And oh my god, he is just camping and I was outplayed by a camper. At this point, I decided to spectate him because I really wanted to see him die. I heard someone pushing on him, and I knew that this was the time. As the steps grew closer, I grew in excitement to watch this dude die. However, he got the best of this guy because he was absolutely terrible. I got a little worried because there was only 3 people left, and he was one of them. After a couple minutes of watching, the third person ended up dying, making it a 1v1. Now, I was really worried. I did not want this guy to win, so I continued to spectate and just hope that this last guy took him out. It was a 1v1 and he finally had to leave his hiding spot. He really didn't seem that good at the game, and I was very upset that I lost to this guy. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this part because all he really does is run around on a hill because he has no skill and he just likes to camp. People like this drive me nuts. Finally, after a couple seconds, he noticed him in the distance. I had a feeling that this was the end of the game because he had the jump on our lightsaber wielding friend here. However, he was ready. He pulled out a lightsaber, but you could tell the force was strong with the opponent. As the battle continued, all I wanted to see was this guy die, and I did not want him to win the game. As the battle continued, it honestly got really intense. He pulled out his minigun, and then even switched back to his lightsaber to try and get the best of him. But in the end, he decided to use his AR, and that's where his downfall came. He took a huge hit and decided to build his way out of the situation. He quickly realized that his building skills were not going to help him in this situation, so he went ahead and ran. After a couple seconds of running, he decided that building was his best bet. It seemed like he might have got the best of this guy as he was getting flanked, but our Jedi-wielding friend was just a little bit better and he won the game. This brought me absolute joy. I cannot express that enough. In the end, I was able to bring home 4 kills and I was able to get 5th place. I really wanted to get the win, but you know, you can't always get it every time. All in all, I was really happy with this game. It felt really great. The iPad performed amazingly and I couldn't complain at all. So if you're thinking about switching to the iPad or you have an iPad already and you want to use it for Fortnite gaming, I 100% recommend it because it is really, really top notch. If you made it this far into the video, I just want to say thank you so much, and if you could drop a like on the video, that would be awesome. This is actually my first video on this channel, so thank you guys for stopping by. This was awesome. I appreciate it, and you guys have a great day. Peace.